Hello, this is Russell Hawley talking to you from the Tate Geological Museum, and I'm going to introduce you to just a few more rocks that you can find on Casper Mountain. As you continue to drive past the parking area up onto the top of Casper Mountain, you start to encounter different rock types. Here, for example, is some more granite, and if you look very closely at it, you'll notice that it looks like it's been seasoned with black pepper. All those little black flecks on there are bits of biotite mica. And biotite mica is one of the ingredients of granite that you find on Casper Mountain. The reason that it's important to us here is that granite, if it's subjected to enough heat and pressure, can actually change into another kind of rock. Not only is it not granite anymore after enough heat and pressure, but it's not even an igneous rock anymore. There's three different kinds of rock, and the kind that's been changed by heat and pressure is called what? That's right, metamorphic rocks. And that is what you'll encounter on your Casper Mountain road trip when you get to this area, right about here, rock that's been altered by heat and pressure. Here's the first one. This is called schist. So here we've got the light pale minerals from the granite, some calcium feldspar and some quartz, but that biotite mica has condensed out into these veins here with all of the crystals nicely parallel to each other. That's called foliation, and that is a common characteristic of metamorphic rocks. So that is a metamorphic rock, originally started out as granite and then got changed into schist by heat and pressure. If you continue to subject this metamorphic rock to even more heat and pressure, it turns into another type of rock, which you can encounter right about here. This is Asbestos Turn on this part of the map, at least asbestos I can remember. And that is where you can see this stuff in the road cut. And if you want to subject your family to a really bad pun, you can point out the window at that outcrop and say, "That's nice," because this is gneiss, another metamorphic rock, spelled G-N-E-I-S-S. By the way, these are the only rock specimens on this table that were not collected from Casper Mountain. These actually came from my ex-wife's driveway in North Carolina, but it's a good example of how to identify gneiss. It has stripes of black and white on it, kind of like zebra skin, and that's exactly what you'll see as you go around Asbestos Turn here in that road cut. It'll be black rock with white bands running across it. The problem is that the black and white bands are quite a bit thicker than they are on these little specimens, so in order to show you the striping, I'd have to be carrying a chunk of rock about the size of a beach ball, which is not within my skill set. And then, as you go into this area here, you start to encounter these sorts of rocks right here. In the areas that are represented by green with black polka dots, we get this sort of rock, serpentinite, so called because these dark wavy lines reminded people of snakes. In these areas, you can find quartz pegmatite, that is to say, rock that has very large crystals of quartz in it, more than 1 centimeter in diameter. And indeed, sometimes you can find chunks of quartz in that pegmatite that are the size of a grapefruit. There's actually one right about here that's the size of a refrigerator, but I left it there. It's still up there if you want to see it. I did not load it into my car and bring it down to the museum. And then finally, a rock that I mentioned earlier in our discussion of igneous rocks, diabase. A black, heavy, ultramafic igneous rock. These are found here and here and here in the form of dikes, thin sheets of melted rock that have thrust themselves up through the surrounding rock and then crystallized in place. This one, by the way, is a good example of a ventifact. The corners have been polished off by wind-blown dust. Beryl can be found in the feldspar mine and the area surrounding it. Specimens of beryl can be seen right here, and it is embedded in calcium feldspar, white rock with very distinctive shiny cleavage planes. And then finally, right here, very shortly before you get into Bear Trap Meadows, is an outcrop of talc, actinilite, schist. And that's what we're looking at right here. This is one of those rocks that's easier to identify when you've actually got it in your hand rather than simply looking at it, because the talc in it makes it slippery. It has an almost soapy feel to it. Talc is the softest of minerals, and as you handle this, it comes off on your fingertips and makes it feel a whole lot like soap. So have your fingers ready when you're looking for talc actinilite schist in this area, right there on top of Casper Mountain.